Good morning, all of you. Myself, Dr. Nagamalleshwar Rao, Professor in Computer Science and Engineering, Sri Datta Group of Educational Institutions. I welcome all participants, those who are joined this program, Training on C Programming. Last 3 days, we discussed about different topics. That are, first day we discussed about computer system. Then after that, computer languages. Then introduction to C language and structure of C. These topics we are discussed already. So today I'm going to discuss the continuation of those topics. That is first one is identifier. Second one is keywords. Then third one is data types. These topics I am going to discuss today. Before going to discussion of identifiers, data types and keywords, once again I'm going to execute previous class programs. Just see. This is your previous program. Okay. So again, I'm going to execute. So first of all, again, I will start with new. I will take with new. This is your Turbo C compiler. Immediately you save this file. How to save? I told already. Go to file. There is a save option, F2. Otherwise, press F2 button in your keyboard. Then say type your program name, that is assume P2, that is program name .c. .c is mandatory for C language. Then automatically name will change P2.c. Okay. Then initially we will start with description, that is documentation section and all. Then I will start with header files. Hash include stdio.h. Hash include conio.h. Void main block started. That is called compound block. Compound statement. CLR SCR printf welcome. I will use one more statement, printf C programming. Okay. Again save your program. This entire program is called source code or source program. This is called original program. After that, this is called user understandable language. This is called high level language. This is called C language. So this is user understandable. అంటే మనకు అర్థం అవుతుంది, కంప్యూటర్ కి అర్థం కాదు. So we can convert our language into computer understandable language. That is called compilation. So compile the program, compile. So see here, 462 lines are compiled, 462. Actually, in this program, that many lines are not available. Okay. So how to execute, how to compile 460 lines, 462 lines, I will tell you. So then after compilation, immediately one more file is generated that is called object file. That is generated by the system, not by the user. User maname generate cheya. By default generate chestadi. That file name is called p2.obj. p2.obj. After that, run your program. How to run your program? Here there is a option run. Otherwise, press Ctrl F9 buttons in your keyboard. Okay. Then check your output by pressing Alt F5. Alt F5. Welcome C programming. This is your output. So most of the participants are asking, if you remove hash include stdio.h, if you remove hash include conio.h, what is the output? I told already, if you remove hash include stdio.h, conio.h, some compilers will execute the program. Some compilers will not execute the program. So check the output again, Alt F9, no errors. If you, after removing the two header files, you see the compilation process here, lines compiled 6. Yes, we have only 6 lines, 6 lines are compiled. Okay. Then run your program, Control F9, check your output Alt by pressing Alt F5. Welcome C program. This is your last program. Okay. So I told already why we are getting 400 or 300 extra lines we are compiling means by using header files, two header files, stdio.h. As if you, I will use only one header file, just compile this, 314 lines. If you include one more header file, that is hash include conio.h, again compile this program, 462 lines are compiled. That is the difference. If you include one more header file, again, suppose I will include hash include, suppose string.h. This is one of the header file, I will tell you later. Again compile 597. Means every header file contain number of functions. Number of functions. I told already stdio.h, I'm going to show that header files. Just see here. Here header files are there. Header file option is available. Just press enter button. Then just check stdio.h. Yes, this is stdio.h. Yes, the stdio.h function contain, sorry, header file contain different functions. These functions are called predefined functions. Predefined function. What is predefined? Predefined means the functions which are available along with the software is called predefined. Predefined. Suppose మీరు ఒక మొబైల్ కొన్నారనుకోండి, ఆ మొబైల్లో బై డిఫాల్ట్గా మీకు ఏమొస్తాయండి, సెట్టింగ్స్ వస్తాయి, మెసేజ్ అనేది వస్తుంది, ఇవన్నీ బై డిఫాల్ట్గా వచ్చేస్తాయి. సపోజ్ వాట్సాప్ ఉంది, వాట్సాప్ బై డిఫాల్ట్కి రాదు కదా, మీరు ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకోవాలి. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యూజర్ డిఫైన్డ్ అప్లికేషన్. బై డిఫాల్ట్గా వచ్చే అప్లికేషన్స్ ఏమున్నాయంటే మీకు మొబైల్లో సెట్టింగ్స్, కాల్స్ ఆర్ మెసేజెస్ అవి ఉంటాయి కదా, అవన్నీ బై డిఫాల్ట్గా వచ్చేస్తాయి సిస్టమ్ మొబైల్తో పాటు. అలా కాకుండా మీరు అప్లికేషన్స్ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకుంటారు కదా, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యూజర్ డిఫైన్డ్ అప్లికేషన్స్. లైక్ దట్ దీస్ ఆల్ ఫంక్షన్స్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ ప్రీ డిఫైన్డ్ ఫంక్షన్. సిస్టమ్ కంపైలర్తో పాటు మీరు ఎప్పుడైతే సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకుంటారో దాంతో పాటు వచ్చేస్తాయి. after installing C software, whatever the functions we are getting, those functions are called predefined function. So stdio.h contain these all functions. We know that one of the function that is called printf, printf. So like that, conio.h also contain some function. Just check it, header files. Yes, here conio.h is available. Just press enter button. So many functions are there. So many functions are. All will execute. All will execute. When if you write hash include conio.h, by default, that functions means under conio.h, whatever the functions are there, those functions will execute or compile. Okay, I think clear all of you. సో మాక్సిమం ఇవే క్వశ్చన్స్ రైజ్ చేశారు. క్లాస్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత కూడా ఇలాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ డౌట్స్ రైజ్ చేశారు కాబట్టి మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి నెక్స్ట్ కంటిన్యూషన్. One more important point I am going to discuss here in this program. See here, I told this is starting point of the main function. This is ending point of the main function. Starting point, ending point. This is compound statement starting. This is a compound statement ending. Any function starts with compound statement. Any function closes with compound statement. Okay. Suppose this is CLR SCR followed by semicolon. What is the meaning of semicolon first? Semicolon tells end of that line, means end of that statement. So void main contains 3 lines. Those 3 lines are called statements. You remember, whatever the functions we are written inside of the function, those lines are called statements. Every statement ends with a semicolon. You remember, every statement in function always ends with a semicolon, not colon, not dot, only semicolon. This is compound statement starting. This is compound statement ending. Suppose I will remove the compound statement, and for your clarification, I will remove these header files also. Okay. I removed already compound statement closing compound statement. Just compile this program. How to compile? First save your program by pressing F2 button. Then compile the program. Alt F9. Check it. Lines compiled 6. Warnings 0, errors 1. Just press enter button. Then you can find the error. Last compiling p2.c, that is our program name. Error p2.c, that is our program name. It's showing line, that is 5th line. What is that? Compound statement missing. Compound statement missing. అంటే కంపైలరే చెప్పేస్తుంది మనకి మనం ఎక్కడ తప్పు రాసాం, మిస్టేక్ ఎక్కడ ఉంది అనేది కాంపౌండ్ స్టేట్మెంట్ చెప్పేస్తుంది. ఓకే, ఇలా ఎర్రర్ రాగానే మీరు ఏం భయపడవసరం లేదు. జస్ట్ ప్రెస్ ఎంటర్ బటన్. By default it will give error messages. Okay, then press enter button and give compound statement closed compound statement. Then again check Alt F9. No errors. Compiling 6, errors 0, warnings 0. Okay, then I'm going to remove semicolon here. Semicolon. I'm going to remove semicolon. Writing the program is not an important. Writing the program is not an important. Solving the errors is important. Program ఎవరైనా రాస్తారండి. ప్రోగ్రామ్లో వచ్చే ఎర్రర్స్ మీరు సాల్వ్ చేయగలిగితే మీరు 100% మీకు ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ నాలెడ్జ్ ఉన్నట్టు. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ సపోజ్ ఐ రిమూవ్ సెమీకోలన్, ప్రెస్ ఆల్ట్ F9. It's showing 2 errors, but as per our knowledge we have only 1 error, but it shows like that only. But you don't worry, just press enter button. It shows very clearly statement missing. Statement, I told every statement or statements ends with semicolon. It's showing very clearly statement missing, that is semicolon. Okay, so enter button, then followed by semicolon. Okay, again compile this program, alt F9. Lines compiled 6, warning 0, errors 0. Okay, run this program by pressing Ctrl F9. Okay, check your output by pressing alt F5. Welcome C programming. That's all. I think all of you clear? Right. Continuation. So today I will start with identifiers. Then after that I will discuss printf. So what is an identifier first? What is the meaning of identifier? Okay, first of all, identifier is nothing but a name. Identifier is nothing but a name. Suppose మీ ఐడెంటిటీ కోసమైనా నా ఐడెంటిటీ కోసమైనా ఏం చేస్తామండి, ఒక నేమ్ ఉంటుంది. సపోజ్ హౌ టు ఫైండ్ అవుట్ a student contain name, student contain roll number or a hall ticket number, like that. Okay, so what is identifier? Identifier is nothing but a name. Identifier is nothing but a name. Okay, so identifier is nothing but a name which is used for declaring different. What different? Different types of functions, different types of variables, different types of arrays, different types of symbolic constant, and so on. Again, identifier is a name. Identifier is nothing but a name which is used to declare function name, array name, variable name, and symbolic constants. Okay, so suppose if you want to write a function, that contain number of identifiers, that contain number of variables, that contain number of arrays, like that. So Every variable an identifier, every function is an identifier, every array is an identifier. So finally, what is identifier? Identifier is nothing but a name which is used to declare. అది ఎక్కడ యూజ్ చేస్తాం? ఐడెంటిఫైర్ ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేస్తాం? యూజ్ టు డిక్లేర్ ఫంక్షన్ నేమ్, array name, variable name and symbolic constants. This is called an identifier. This is called an identifier. I think clear all of you. Now, what are the rules for declaring an identifier? What are the rules for declaring an identifier? It is very important. Listen. An identifier always starts with an alphabet or underscore. You know that underscore symbol. Minus is different, underscore is different. Every identifier always starts with a symbol that is called underscore or alphabet. Okay, so these all basic points are very important. If you miss these basic points, you can't understand next session classes. Okay, listen here. I will write one program. Okay, see here. I told identifier is nothing but a name. Identifier is nothing but a name which is used to declare. What identifier ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేస్తాం? To declare function name, second variable name, third one array name, last one some symbolic constants. You don't know what is function, what is variable, what is array, what is symbolic constant. I will tell you now. So if you see the program, suppose previous program, what is that program? Void main block is started, then printf. Hi, this is your program. This is your program. Okay. This is your program. So for this program, you tell me what is main. You know that main is a function name. Main is a function name. I told every function contain function header and function body. This is function body. So function header contains return type, function name. So if you write the second function also, suppose I will write void csc log started printf welcome, So see here, this program contain how many functions? Two functions. What are they? One is main function, second one is csc function. One is main function, second one is csc function. Okay, so here function name starts with an alphabet. What is function name? Main. Function name ela start ayindi m. M is a alphabet. Here what is c? Alphabet. What is csc? Function name. Function name starts with what? C, that is called what? Alphabet. So identifier is nothing but a name. Identifier is nothing but a name. By using an identifier, we can declare function name, variable name, array name, and symbolic constants. And symbolic constant. So next, so you know that you understand what is function name. How to start? By using an identifier. How to start an identifier? By using an alphabet or underscore. Suppose if you want to use underscore here, yes, you can use. Suppose I will use underscore symbol. This is minus shift minus not underscore. Yes, we can write, not a problem. Suppose if you want to use for main, yes, we can write, not a problem. Any identifier always starts with a symbol, underscore, or an alphabet, not a problem. Okay, then identifier should not start with numbers. Suppose I told main is an identifier, because of that is function name. CSC also an identifier, that is also function name. Both are function name. So here function name always starts with alphabets or underscore. Clear? Now identifier should not starts with number. Suppose you can't write, suppose a number 2 CSC. You can't write, suppose 1 main. Okay, next. Special symbols are not allowed. What is special? What are the special symbols? That is at the rate, hash, dollar, plus, minus. Suppose I can't use plus here. I can't use minus here. I can't use, suppose, and symbol here. I can't use dollar symbol here. I can't use hash symbol here. Identifier should not start with numbers or special symbols. Identifier always starts with a symbol, underscore, or an alphabet. I think clear all of you. Next. So you know that here what is function. So identifier starts with a alphabet or underscore. Identifier where we will use? To declare function name. Clear? So what is function name? అక్కడ function name రాశాను, వాటికి ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేసి చూపించాను. Next, what is second one? I will tell you second one. What is variable name? Suppose if you attend previous classes, I told local declarations and global declarations. Local declarations and global declaration. Suppose if you write integer, suppose a equal to 10. You remember a is a variable. Just remember a is a variable. I will write inside the function integer p equal to 20 followed by semicolon. Okay. Okay. Integer a equal to 10. I am initialized outside of the function. Then integer b equal to 20, I am initialized inside of the function. You know very well. Okay, function block open chesi block close chesanu kada, ee block local raste local declarations or local variables. Okay, then this is called outside of the function. Integer a equal to 10, that is called outside of the function. So here you try to understand what is a, what is b. A, b are called variables. In detail I will tell you what is variable, how to declare a variable, how to initialize a variable. ఎలా పడితే అలా రాయకూడదమ్మా. ఇంటీజర్ a equal to 10 అలా రాశాను అంటే then దానికి certain rules ఉన్నాయి, protocols ఉన్నాయి. I will tell you later. Initially you just try to understand. Integer a equal to 10 is a variable initialization. Integer b equal to 20 is a variable initialization. Okay, so here what is AB? AB are called variables. So if you want to declare variable name, you should follow identifier rules. Identifier rules. If you want to declare variable, ఇక్కడ a అనేది వేరియబుల్ కదా, b ఆల్సో ఏ వేరియబుల్ కదా. you should follow you should follow identifier rules. What is the what are the identifier rules? Identifier always starts with a symbol that is called underscore or alphabet. Identifier should not start with numbers, special symbols. Okay, so this is identifier. A1, I will write A1, 1B, 1B. This is identifier. Otherwise 2B. This is identifier. Okay, which one is wrong, which one is correct? So based on my 5 minutes clarifications means class, you tell me which one is correct, which one is wrong. Which one is correct, which one is wrong? Yes, A1 is correct. A1 is correct. 2B is not correct. 2B is not correct. Means an identifier starts with, I told an identifier starts with alphabet or underscore. Yes, starts with alphabet or underscore. Followed by, you can write a number, not a problem. Not a problem. We can't start with number followed by alphabet. So 2B is wrong. A1 is correct. A1 is correct. I think clear all of you. So if you want to write any identifier, you have to follow those rules. Suppose next, what is the length of the an identifier? Means ikkada A1, suppose I will write here number. Okay, I will remove here. Now see here, all of you see, this is your program. Program contain integer number equal to 10 followed by semicolon, void main, block started, integer b equal to 20 followed by semicolon, compound statement closed. Okay, so here how many identifiers are there? As per your knowledge, there are 3 identifiers. That is function name main. Okay, then number also an identifier. Okay, then b also an identifier. There are 3 identifiers. Main is function name, number b are called variables. Okay, so now my point is, what is the length of an identifier? Suppose ikkada length chuste, you consider main word. What is the length? Length means number of characters. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Here this is variable. Variable also an identifier. What is the length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. B is an identifier. What is the length? 1. Okay. Any compiler will accept identifier length is 6 to 8 characters. 6 to 8 characters. Okay. అంతకన్నా ఎక్కువ ఉందనుకోండి అండర్స్కోర్ యూజ్ చేయాలి. సపోజ్ నంబర్ 1 అండర్స్కోర్, ఇంకా మీరు ఏదైనా రాయాలంటే రాసుకోవచ్చు. సపోజ్ మ్యాక్సిమం అంతకన్నా ఎక్కువ ఉండకూడదు. సపోజ్ హాయ్, దిస్ ఈస్ కరెక్ట్. ఇక్కడ 6 వచ్చేసింది, మ్యాక్సిమం 8 క్యారెక్టర్స్ యూ కెన్ యూస్, followed by underscore, followed by you can write, not a problem. Okay, so these are the rules for declaring an identifier. Finally, I will tell you again what is identifier. Identifier is nothing but a name which is used to declare function name, variable name, array name, symbolic constants. Okay, you know that what is function, you know that what is variable. Just now I told. Array, I will discuss later. Array is nothing but collection of data, a group of data, similar data, collection of similar data. Okay, symbolic constant. Suppose if you want to write pi value is 3.14, but we can't use pi symbol in C program. Instead of pi, we will use a variable name. Then we will assign a value that is called 3.14, like that. symbolic constant. Okay, so this is my end of about identifiers. Once again, I will share my slide. So every point is very important. Please remember each and every point. After my class, I'm providing notes also. Once go through the notes. Next topic. Next topic is called token or tokens. First of all, C program is a collection of tokens. If you want to write a C program, there are so many tokens are there. C programming language is a collection of tokens. Okay. A token may be a keyword, token may be an operator, token may be a string, constant, identifiers also. Identifiers also. Special characters also. What are the special characters? You know that two special characters. That is /n and /t. Those are called special characters. Okay. So token means a smallest unit in the program or smallest part in the program. Every part in the program is called a token. Token may be a keyword, operator, symbol, identifiers, constants, strings, and so on. Okay, next. If you want to write a token, we can write a token, but we cannot break a token. We can't break a token. Okay. So you try to understand, you know void. What is void? Void is a keyword. Void is a keyword. Yes. What is main? Main is an identifier. Yes, see here. Void is a keyword. Main is identifier. Okay. What is token? Token is nothing but collection of keywords, operators, string, constants, special characters, identifiers. Okay. So I will take one example. I will explain along with the program. Okay, see this program. See this previous program. This is your program. Okay. What is our topic name? Token. What is token? Smallest unit in the program is called token. మీ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ప్రతి ఒక్క పార్ట్ నేమ్ అంటారంటే టోకెన్ అంటారు. What are the tokens? Token may be a keyword, identifier, string, special characters, and so on. Okay. So as per your knowledge, you know that void. I told void is a keyword. Keyword means reserved word. There are 32 keywords are available in C language. Okay. So that is a return type followed by main. Main is a function name. Main is a function name. So you tell me what is void? Void is a keyword and also known as token. Token. What is main? Main is an identifier and also known as token. I told token is nothing but smallest part in the program. Smallest part in the program, that is called token. Okay. I told if you want to use n number of tokens in your program, but we cannot break the token. Suppose if you want to write void main, You should write void followed by space followed by main. That's all. Void is a keyword. Keyword means what? Reserved word. So void also a token. You cannot write like this. VO space ID. VO space ID. We cannot break the token. Void అనేది టోకెన్ ఒకటి. Void అనేది కీవర్డ్. సారీ కీవర్డ్. ఆ కీవర్డ్ ని కానీ ఆ టోకెన్ ని కానీ మనం బ్రేక్ చేయకూడదు. Okay. Void is a token. Main is a token. Okay. So my point is we cannot break the token, but we can pass n number of space in between the tokens. Void తర్వాత immediate గా స్పేస్ ఇస్తాం కదండి, followed by main రాస్తాం. ఈ స్పేస్ అనేది మీ ఇష్టం అంతా ఎంత కావాలంటే అంత, నాట్ ఎ ప్రాబ్లం. We will give n number of space in between the tokens. Yes, we can write like this, not a problem. But we cannot break the token. VO space ID రాయకూడదు or M space AIN రాయకూడదు. That is wrong. That is wrong. We cannot break the token, but you can give n number of space in between the tokens. That is my point. I think clear all of you. Okay. So int also a token. Every part is a token here. Compound statement open, that is also a token. Compound statement close, that is also a token. Next, main semicolon is a token. Equal to is a token. B is a token. INT is a token. Every part is a token in C program. C program is a collection of tokens. We cannot break the tokens, but we can give n number of space in between the tokens. I think clear all of you. Once again, you see. Okay, token is the smallest unit in a program, smallest part in a program. Okay, then token is divided into 6 different types. Token keywords. Token may be a keyword, operator, string, constants, special characters, identifiers. That's all. That's all. Okay, that is token part. Next, third one, keywords. Third one, keywords. So today we discussed identifiers. Initially we discussed previous class outputs and errors, how to eliminate errors, how to get errors, and how to compile all lines. After that we discussed identifiers, identifier rules, followed by tokens and token rules, how to write a token and how to can't write a token. Then followed by keywords. I told keyword is nothing but a reserved word. Keyword is nothing but a reserved word. There are 32 keywords are there in C language. There are 32 keywords are there in C language. If you know the usage of 32 keywords, then you will be master in C language. Puneet sir?
Yes, sir.
I think Samir Khan sir raising the hand once. Unmute.
Sir, okay, sir.
Director sir.
Okay, sir. Sir is messaging that he will be coming back later. Continue.
Okay. Sir, is it visible? My slide is visible.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Yes, sir.
Which one? Keywords.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So keyword is nothing but a reserved word. In C language, there are 32 keywords are available. So these are the different types of keywords. Auto, break, case, char, const, continue, default, do, double, else, enum, extern, short, for, go to, if, int, long, register, return, float, signed, size of, static, struct, switch, typedef, union, unsigned, void, volatile, and while. These are the keywords. If you want to use any keyword in your C program, we cannot break the keyword. I told as per a previous slide. See here, token may be a keyword, token may be an operator, string, constants, special characters, and identifiers. I told if you want to use tokens, we can use, but we cannot break the tokens. Suppose if you want to write here, there is a size of, operator here. So we will use here size of. We should write there is no space in between size and of. Size and of. Okay. We cannot break the tokens. That is final. Okay. Next. Next one, data types. This is very, very important point in your C language. Before going to discussion of data types, I will tell you, I will use whiteboard and I will tell you. First of all, what is the definition of data type? Initially, I can't explain all data types. Initially, I will tell you only 3 data types. After that, I will explain remaining data types. Okay. First of all, what is data type? Data type tells what type of data we are going to store on variable. Suppose I will take integer a equal to 10. As per your knowledge, a is a variable. I told previous program also. Integer b equal to 20. B also a variable. A, B are called variables. Next, suppose I will take float x equal to 90.87. Okay. Here our concept name is data type. What is data type? Data type tells what type of data we are going to store on a variable. ఈ వేరియబుల్లో ఎలాంటి డేటా మనం స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నామో చెప్పేది డేటా టైప్. ABX are called variables. ABX are called variables. A stores numbers, B also stores numbers, X stores decimal numbers. Decimal numbers means we are storing floating kind of data. So data type tells what type of data we are going to store on variable. First, I will take three data types, and I will explain. Remaining in depth, I will explain in next class. So again, what is the use of data type? Data type tells what kind of information, what type of values we are going to store on variable. Okay. Suppose I will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Okay, 6. Then I will take 10.530, 50.67. I will take, suppose, H and L. So first of all, 1, 2, 3 are called, and these type of numbers are called integer data. Integer data. Integer data. Integer. How to represent integer? How to represent integer means by using a data type that is called int. By using a data type that is called int. 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 Next. 10.30, 50.30, sorry, 50.67, those data are called decimal numbers or floating point values. How to use these floating point values, how to represent these floating point values, which type of data type we will use means that is called float. First one is integer, second one is float. What about last one? An alphabet that is represented in single quotes, that is called character. Any alphabet represented in single quotes, that is called character. How to represent character? By using a keyword. By using a keyword. These are keywords also, int, float, character. Those are keywords as well as data types also. Okay. How to represent character means by using a keyword or data type that is called char. That is called char. Clear, all of you? Now we have, I am explaining initially three data types: integer, floating point, and character. Integer, floating point, and character. How to represent integer means by using a keyword, by using a data type that is called int. How to represent float, that is by using a keyword or data type that is called float. Last one, character. Character means alphabets that should be represented in single quotes by using a keyword or a data type that is called char. I think clear, all of you. Now listen. Suppose I want to store a value that is 100. I want to store a value 100. Then I want to store a value that is 50.560. I want to store a value that is called y. Fine. So first you try to understand 100 is which type of data. Which type of data? That is called integer data. So which type of keyword, which type of data type we will use, that is called int. Int. Then 500.3660 is what? Floating kind of data, decimal point data. For storing decimal points, which type of keyword, which type of data type we will use, that is called float. You first understand these three data types, then you can understand remaining automatically. Okay, next, what is y? Y is a character. How to represent character? By using single quotes. By using single quotes. This is representation of character. Okay. For storing characters, which data type we will use? That is called character. Char. C-H-A-R. Char. Okay. So for storing these values, we will take one variable that is called int space a. Int space a. I'm going to store a value that is 100, so that's why I will use equal followed by 100 followed by semicolon. Okay, int space a equal to 100. A followed by equal, that is called assignment operator. I will tell you later different operators, I will explain later. Equal is called assignment operator. Okay, next I will use float followed by space, then I will take one variable name. You know that how to declare a variable, how to write a variable. If you want to write a variable, we will follow identifier rules. What is identifier? Identifier is nothing but a name which is used to declare function name, variable name. This is variable now. Variable name, array name, symbolic constants, and so on. So b equal to 500.60, I will initialize. Then if you want to store character value, use a keyword or data type char followed by variable name. Suppose I will take a variable name n equal to use single quotes y single quotes close followed by semicolon. That's all. Okay. Now the question is how to print these values. How to print these values. Okay. Now I will discuss printf. I will explain how to print these values. I think all of you understood this one. Data types. Data type tells what type of data we are going to store on a variable. Normally I am discussing three data types: integral, integer, floating point, and character. If we want to store numbers, we will use a data type int. If you want to store decimal points or floating points, we will use a data type float. If you want to store characters, we will use a data type char. Continuation. Now I will tell you what is printf. By using printf, I will print those values. Okay. So you know that printf is a predefined function. I told beginning of the class, printf is a predefined function. Okay, which is available. Printf function is available at hash include stdio.h. Once again, I will show you. See here. So go to help, then contents. There are header files option here. Then press header files. Here we have so many header files are there. We are discussing about standard stdio.h. You know that std means standard, I means input, o means output, .h means header file. Okay, if you open this header file, we will get printf function. Yes, printf. Yes, printf. So printf is a output function. By using printf, we can print any kind of data. Okay, so printf is a predefined function which is available at hash include stdio.h header file. That is my point. Then by using printf, we can print any type of data. Any type of data we can print. How to print? In printf statement, within double quotes, whatever the content is there, that only will print. Suppose, see this program, printf, brackets open, double quote start, welcome, double quotes close, followed by bracket close, followed by semicolon. I told semicolon means end of the statement, end of the statement. Within double quotes, whatever the content is there, that will be your output. Okay, just check your output. First compile the program. You know that how to compile, what is compilation. Okay, compilation means what? Converting one level language into another level, that is high level language into mission understandable language. How to compile? There is an option here, compile, otherwise press alt F9 button. Okay, then after compiling, one more file is generated, that is called object file. This is called source file, that is p2.c. After compiling, one more file is generated, that is called p2.obj. obj means object file. Object file that contain different number, zeros and ones, different symbols. That is mission understandable format, not user understandable format. After compiling, immediately run your program. How to run? There is an option here, run. Otherwise, press Control F9 button. Control F9. Okay. For output, you just press Alt F5 button. Alt F5. Welcome C program. Welcome C program. Yes. Within double quotes, whatever the content is there, that will be your output. Suppose here printf double quote start, welcome, double quotes close. I will write here, comma, I will write CSC. Check your output first. Again compile. Yes, error. You can get error. So if you want to write a printf statement, we will follow some syntax. We will follow some syntax. I will tell you the syntax. So printf, first brackets open, immediately double quote start. Immediately double quote start. Suppose if you miss double quotes, see the output. Printf brackets open, no double quotes, bracket close, followed by semicolon. Check your output. Automatically the compiler will give an error message. See, undefined symbol, welcome. So if you want to write, if you want to print any kind of data, that you should represent within double quotes only. Within double quotes only. That is your first point. Again, printf is a predefined function which is available at hash include stdio.h. By using printf, we can print any type of data within printf. In printf statement, within double quotes, whatever the content is there, that will be printed on your console. Console is nothing but a monitor. Clear? Now, so suppose I already told three values. See here. That is integer a equal to 100. That is your first value. Float b equal to suppose 30.78 followed by semicolon. That is your second value. Then char, I will take a variable name c. Then I will store a value that is suppose assume h. Okay. Single quotes open and closed followed by immediately semicolon. Semicolon means end of this statement, end of that line, end of this statement. Now, how to print these values? Now concept is how to print a value, b value, c value. How to print? Can I write? If you want to print anything, first you write printf. So printf, double quote start, bracket open, double quote start. Can I write a value? A value is okay. Then how to print p value? Printf. Suppose if you want to generate output at next line, we will use slash, and you know that yesterday we discussed it. So b value is double quotes close. Then third one, printf slash n. Next line will print c value. Okay. So you tell me, you just imagine what is the output. I think you're expecting a value is 100, b value is 30.78, c value is h. Okay. Just check save your program again, compile the program, then run the program. Those are warnings. I will tell you how to eliminate the warnings. I will tell you. Then run the program. Check your output. I will use CLRS here also. Then you can understand. Three warnings we got. Okay. Then control F9. Yes, check your output. A value is, B value is, C value. That's it. Okay. So I told within printf, within double quotes, whatever the content is there, that will be your output. So ikkada double quotes lo emundi, printf a value is, that is your output. Second printf slash and b value is, that is only your output. C value is, that is your own output. So a value is, b value is, c value. Values are not printed. Yes. Now how to print those values? That is very important point. How to print those values? If we want to print any kind of values, we will use a format specifiers. Format specifiers. This is very important concept. After printing these values, I will stop the session. Just listen. This part is very important. It will take only 10 minutes. Yes. So here, integer means numbers, floating point means decimal numbers, character means alphabets with single quotes. Now, if we want to print integer values, we will use a format specifier that is called %d. %d. First of all, you have to understand what is format specifier. Format specifier tells which type of data we are going to print on console. ఎలాంటి డేటా మనం ప్రింట్ చేస్తున్నాము అని చెప్పేది ఫార్మాట్ స్పెసిఫైయర్. ఫార్మాట్ స్పెసిఫైయర్ టెల్స్ విచ్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ డేటా వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ప్రింట్ ఆన్ కన్సోల్. మానిటర్ మీద ఎలాంటి డేటా మనం ప్రింట్ చేస్తున్నాం అని చెప్పేది format specifier. Now, if you want to print integer values, we will use a format specifier that is %d. Next, if you want to print floating values, we will use a format specifier %f. Okay. If you want to print character values, that is alphabets with the single quotes, we will use a format specifier that is called %c. That's all. So integers print cheyali ante %d use cheyali. Then floating point values means decimal. If you want to print decimal values, we will use %f. Then if you want to print characters, we will use %c. Okay. Now see here. Again see here. Now I am going to print a value. A is which one? Which data? Which value? 100. 100 is what? Integer. Integer. If you want to print integer values, which format specifier we will use? That is called percentage %d. That is called percentage %d. So you should write a value is space percentage, space also not required. You can write, not a problem. Percentage %d, double quotes close, followed by comma, followed by a. This is the correct syntax. Okay. Now, if we want to print b value, we will use b value is double quotes close, followed by comma, followed by b, followed by b. Then, if we want to print c value is double quotes close, followed by comma, followed by c, followed by c. Okay. Now compile this program. Alt F9. Previously we got the warnings also. Now there no warnings, no errors. Clear? Now compilation is over. Then run the program. Control F9. Then press Alt F5 button for checking output. Yes, A value is 100. B value is, sorry, you should write here percentage %f, percentage %f, and you should write here percentage %c, format specifiers. Okay, then followed by double quotes close, followed by c. Then again compile. I think I closed 2 times. I'm using two times. Okay. Now lines compiled 11, warning 0, error 0. Then control F9. Yes, check your output for pressing Alt F5. So 130.78, then H. So you understand here. Suppose if you want to print float value, after decimal point, we will get 6 precisions, 6 values. By default, the system will give 6 precisions. Okay, 7, 8 మనం ఇచ్చాం, but compiler automatic గా remaining 4 కూడా print చేస్తుంది. Suppose I will give only 8, 30.8. Check the output. 30.79999. Okay. After decimal point, the compiler will take like that. So if you want to print integer value, we will use percentage %d format specifier. If you want to print float values, we will use percentage %f. If you want to print characters, we will use percentage %c, followed by double quotes here. See here. If you want to print a value is percentage %d double quotes close, comma, followed by which value we are going to print a value. So you should write that a. Okay. Then if you want to print b value, printf brackets open, double quotes start, slash, and b value is percentage %f double quotes close, comma, b. Okay. If you want to print b value, b is floating point data. So we will, if you want to print float data type, we will use percentage %f format specifier, then followed by that variable name, like that c. Okay. I think clear all of you. So today I discussed these points, that is identifiers, then tokens, then keywords, then data types. Identifier is nothing but a name which is used to declare function name, variable name, array name, and a symbolic constant. Then second one, token. What is token? Smallest part in the program is called token. If you want to write a token, we can write a token, but we can't break the tokens. Okay. Last one, data type. Data type tells what type of data we are going to store on variable. I discussed only 3 types of data types: integer, floating point, and character. Integer means numbers, floating point means decimal numbers, character means alphabets with single quotes. Okay. So how to represent integer? By using int, int. Mattam raayagudadu. Integer and int. How to write floating point? By using float. How to write character? By using char. That's all. Okay. Then how to print integers? By using percentage the format specifier. How to print float? By using percentage f format specifier. How to print characters? By using percentage C format specifier. Format specifier tells what type of data we are going to print on console. That's all. That is my end. Now I will discuss with previous topics and today topic doubts.